Week's election will reshape the state's top criminal court. It could determine what happens to Robert Roberson, the man convicted of killing his daughter back in 2002.
He's at the center of a legal battle to avoid execution. KVUE's Daniel Perot has more on how this could affect Roberson's push for a new trial.
Texas is one of only a handful of states that elects its judges via partisan elections.
It's one of the highest profile races you haven't heard of. The Texas Court of Criminal Appeals.
Most people look at judicial races and know very little, if anything, about the candidates.
Earlier this month, in a 5-4 decision, the Court of Criminal Appeals upheld Robert Roberson's execution for the death of his daughter in 2002, sparking a back-and-forth battle of subpoenas and hearings that since halted the process and kept Roberson alive. Now, Roberson's execution date can't be reset until mid-January, but by that time, the court will have 3 new judges.
I would expect that somewhere close to 9 out of 10 Texas voters have no idea that the 3 Republicans on the ballot are not incumbents.
3 Republican incumbents, Sharon Keller, Barbara Parker Hervey, and Michelle Slaughter, lost their primaries in March. All 3 voted to allow Roberson's execution to move forward. Joshua Blank with the Texas Politics Project says judicial elections are typically low profile.
The main driver in those votes is the party of the candidates.
For Roberson, the stakes are high, with the future of the court in flux. If the balance of the court shifts, his lawyers could get new legal avenues, but the all-Republican court could also get more conservative.
This does shine a little more of a light on the race than would otherwise have been the case, but not so to any extent that is actually going to change the outcome.
So whether this all influences who voters select to be on the court remains to be seen. In Austin, Daniel Perot, KVUE News.
Daniel, thank you. All new tonight, Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton is calling the actions of a state lawmaker unethical. State Representative Jeff Leech is among a group of several lawmakers leading the charge to stop Roberson's execution and potentially get him a new trial. Tonight, Representative Leech is accused of texting a judge on the Court of Criminal Appeals. According to the Attorney General's office, the alleged text messages said in part, quote, "Judge, I've racked my brain about whether I should send you this message, about where I even can send you this message legally and ethically. One judge, that is all. That is needed to simply say there are too many questions and too many holes, and Robert Roberson deserves a new trial," end quote. Now, Attorney General Paxton's office says the judge immediately reported the text message. The General Counsel of the Texas Court of Criminal Appeals called Leech's text a clear violation. Today, Paxton's notified the Texas Supreme Court of this. Jeff Leech just posted on social media a few minutes ago saying, quote, "Unlike some other leaders in our state, I'm not afraid to admit when I mess up, and that's exactly what I did when I sent a text message to my friend," end quote. He apologized to the judge and the court for that text message. Today, we're hearing from family members of Robert Roberson and his daughter for the first time since the media attention surged around this case.
State Representative Cody Harris released a letter from Nikki's older brother, his aunt, and grandfather who say Nikki's story must be told. Now, they wrote in part, quote, "We believe his death sentence should be carried out based on the facts of this case, which remain true today, as well as the overwhelming evidence that was presented at the trial that led to the jury's verdict," end quote.
They pointed to Nikki's injuries, a medical examiner's testimony that she died from blunt force head injuries, and additional reports of Roberson sexually and physically abusing Nikki. Meantime, Roberson's brother Thomas is defending him, saying he knows Robert did not harm Nikki in any way and that he hopes the truth comes out before it's too late. Thomas wrote about the letter from Nikki's brother, aunt, and grandfather, saying, quote, "These people do not know my brother and must not see the pain they are causing by spreading stories about him and his case, things they cannot possibly know about, stories that are not true," end quote.